Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Municipality of Monroeville Citizen Night and Council Work Session. Today is October 8th, 2015, approximately 7 p.m. And before we rise for the Lord's Prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please mute all your mobile phones or shut them off. If we kindly rise for the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you all remain standing for a moment of silence for those that have other faith, to say their prayers if you would. Thank you. You may be seated. Tim, you want to grab the sheet and see if anybody signed in?
Here. Remove all hats, please.
Nobody has signed in?
Okay. It was done.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to open up the floor. Nobody signed in on the sheet, but if there's anybody who would like to address council, please sign in, state your name for the record, sir.
And the reason I'm doing this, Mr. Wilson got me into this today.
Don't let them railroad you there, Robert.
Well, you know, I'm easily, you know.
Ralph, you could have started leaving you at home.
My question, sir, tonight is the property at 4514 was tabled and everything else on Northern Pike there. Can you give me any kind of an update on the situation there?
Well, what I do know, and Paul, maybe you can help me out on this, is that I was told on one hand they were going to pull their application, and then I heard that it's just going to be remain tabled at this point. So, Paul, if you have any other update on that.
I spoke with our legal representation twice this week. There is no new news.
So it still remains tabled at this point?
No, it'll be on the agenda unless we receive a letter of
okay.
intent.
Okay, well, then you have it up to the minute there, Robert.
Well, you might understand if they tabled it and they wanted to resubmit some other things, do they not have to have that paper into Mr. Hugus prior to this meeting?
Yes, I mean, they have a couple options. If they want to pursue what they currently have, they can be on the agenda. If they want to go in a different direction and zone it something differently, they have to withdraw it and submit a new application.
It's a start over,
It's a start of.
Okay.
if
Do we have any,
they pay the fees and do it.
yeah, do we have any idea when we can find out what's going on?
You could call them and ask.
Call
Well,
them,
you
sir.
know, you can also check with us as
So we're not
well.
going to know until they submit something.
Right,
Okay.
right. And again, Robert, just so you know, and I'll say it publicly, I was told that, and I did say that out there. A couple of residents did ask me, and then it did change, so that it was tabled, and then Paul just said it's going to proceed on. So, again, it's a little bit of minutia out there, but again, that's the latest on
Okay,
that.
thank you, both of you.
Okay. Once again, I'll leave it open for any resident that'd like to address council. Seeing none, we'll close that proportion of our meeting, and I would like to read into the record, and I'll do it on Tuesday as well. Council conducted an executive session for personnel and litigation reasons prior to tonight's Citizens Night meeting, beginning at 6:30 p.m., ended at 6:55 p.m. Council legislative action, if any, shall be taken at the October 13th, 2015 regular council meeting. So, council, looking at our minutes of Citizens Night meeting of September 3rd, 2015, the council work session of September 3, 2015, and the regular council meeting of September 8th, 2015. Any additions or corrections? Seeing none, we'll move over to our reports of our tax collections. Once again, council, any additions or corrections on that issue? Seeing none, moving over to payroll report. I will ask again if council has any corrections or additions on payroll. Moving over the list of bills and budget transfers. We'll start off with you, Tom.
No questions?
Steve?
I have no questions.
Paul?
Good, sir, thank you.
Jim?
Nothing, sir.
Ron?
Ron, do you have any questions?
I didn't bring my list of bills. I did have one question.
Would you like to borrow Tim's?
You can move on.
Okay. Nick?
No questions this evening, Mayor.
All righty. Linda?
Nothing this evening, Mayor, thank you.
You talking about the,
Yeah.
that one for 7,400? Yes. Okay, yeah, Mr. Harvey is, he's asking about, we have real estate tax lien fees, and what that is each year, when we put liens on properties, there's a flat fee for each property, and I don't know what it is, $50, $25, $75 a piece, and it's total, is it 75?
I think.
Okay, and it totals up to $7,400, and Mr. Harvey was asking me what that fee was for, so that's what that's for.
Anything else, Ron?
Nope, that's all.
Okay, Tim, if we'll jump over to the motions under the consent agenda, if you would, please. First one.
Okay, for the council meeting on Tuesday, we have three motions. A motion to accept the resignation of Valerie Coleman for the Human Needs and,
Read them all, read all three of them.
okay, from the Human Needs and Resources Advisory Board. And we also have a motion to place a quarter-page advertisement in the amount of $75 in the 2015-2016 yearbook of the Gateway Hockey Club. And number three is a motion to authorize the advertisement of an RFP, request for proposal for a library RFID, which is a Rapid Frequency Identification Self-Checkout System. And I believe Nicole Henline, the director, is here. And
Well, what I would like to do, Tim, on the first two, council, any questions or comments on either one? And Nicole, if you'll please come on up and maybe explain this third proposal to council, if you would.
You just state your name.
Hi, Nicole Henline. The RFID system is a security system for the materials in the library, and it's an upgrade from the current type of system, which is a tattletale system. And last year, we had an incident at the beginning of the year, well, I think it was in the middle of the year, with a book thief that hit several libraries across the area. And we lost about $5,000 worth of materials in 6 months. A normal doing business amount of books to lose in a year is less than $1,000. So that was a large amount. And so we were looking for ways to make this less likely in the future. And the RFID security system is a better security system and would make that less likely. It's newer technology, so it would keep us updated for much longer. And it also is an efficiency system, so it doesn't just check things in and out like our current system. It has a computer chip in each material that it's put in or on. And it allows you to do an inventory with a wand. It allows you to find books or DVDs, whatever material it is, that are lost on the shelves. Or we do holds every morning, in the morning and in the afternoon, of several hundred items. And you can find them by just moving this wand along the shelves. So it's going to allow our staff to spend more time interacting and helping patrons in the community and less time dealing with the checking in and checking out of barcoded items.
I have two questions for you, Nicole.
Okay.
Did the bad guy get caught?
We do not have official confirmation, but we are told that the bad guy has moved out of the area.
Okay, I was just going to ask Doug that, but I guess, Doug, you have any? No, okay. Second thing, what is the cost of this new system?
The approximate cost is about $80,000, and it is in our budget this year because when the budget was done previous to me getting here, extra money was put into the municipal budget in the case that we needed boilers. We have been told by several HVAC people, including our own public service individuals, that we do not currently need a new boiler. And so we would like to reallocate the money to this RFID system. if anything should happen, that we do need a new boiler next year, we have allocated money for that in the state budget.
Okay, question is there a fee to upgrade this, or is it just a one-time 80,000, and you're good for, what, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then you have to upgrade it? How does that work?
It's good for a year, and then after that, there is a cost of about $7,000 a year to keep the material, not the materials, but the hardware and software under warranty, so that if something goes wrong, they come in, it's covered. And that would be in our normal contract services, and we can find places for that.
Last question, and I'll open up the floor to council, is that, do other libraries, are they moving into this system? Do you have a list of any local, I mean, or is it just,
Yes. Currently, Mount Lebanon, Northland, and I believe Northern Tier, don't quote me on the third one, they have moved towards this system. Other libraries are looking at it. I know Shaler is looking at it. And yes, they are moving towards that, and it's supported by our technology network, EI network, and it's the way things are moving.
okay. Council, I apologize, but please, I'll open up the floor.
Kind of just said what I was going to say. That is the way we're moving, and it's to the point now where if we don't do something like this, our library is going to be the target, because everybody else is going to have something like this, so we're going to be the easy ones.
Does Carnegie Library,
Idea.
do they have this service as well?
They do not yet. I think with them, it's a matter of sheer number of materials and number of locations. But I don't know that for certain, but that would be my guess.
And my last question would be, when this person is caught that's stealing the books, will they have to sit in a corner for the next 20 years?
Well, I mean, that would be nice.
Any other
but
questions,
I doubt it.
council?
Is there going to be any need for extra technology from our IT department, or is that going to be handled all in-house?
That can be handled by the EI network, which we are a part of, and our current technology consultant.
So there would be no more work put on our IT department here in this building? Or
No.
Yes.
No, there would not.
And that 7,000 does cover the upgrades,
Yes, every year or
then
however long they upgrade the
That includes
software.
the IT charge and, for that,
Yes,
whoever
for
does
them
that.
to come out and fix it if there are any problems.
How these systems work is the whole point of it is to keep it like a closed system. We use these a lot in hospitals to track equipment. They don't want outside IT involved in it because they want to maintain the integrity of the system. And the standard upgrades that come with it are just kind of like when you get the iOS 9 upgrade. You're going to get updates. It's going to happen, and then the cost of other RFID tags. Really, that is very inexpensive.
So that 7,000, you'd add that to the budget that you currently have, or there's enough money in your budget?
There's enough money between the county and state and municipal.
You're talking about the RAD money?
Yes, we can cover the increase in contract services
Okay.
that would
yearly.
occur.
The boilers was a very good point to bring up, because when I was the liaison, that, of course, was a big thing of contention on what was happening with the boilers.
We had we had two outside HVAC companies, and then our Public Works gentleman came to look at it, and they can't find any cracks, or, because apparently there was, I was told when I started that there was a crack. They can't find that, and they said for now they're fine, and we haven't been having any problems.
Okay, but like you said, if that would happen,
We do.
if you would put this system in, say, December, and in January, the boilers went, because this is when we're going to find out, winter's coming, then you have the money to
We are,
replace
we're
it?
putting it aside in the state budget for next
Okay.
year.
Once again, council, any other questions for Nicole? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And Tim, if we move over to the resolutions, if you would, for the first one.
Okay, we have two resolutions for Tuesday evening. The first one is a resolution authorizing the distribution of the general municipal pension state aid pursuant to Municipal Pension Plan Act, Act 205 of 1984, which is a basic housekeeping item. Number two is a similar housekeeping item. It's a resolution establishing the procedure of transferring donated funds for the municipality's animal control shelter to the Monroeville Foundation, a 501c3 organization registered in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The resolution just memorializes if anybody wants to donate money to the animal control shelter that it goes through the Monroeville Foundation.
Questions or comments on these two items before you, council?
I'd just like to say thanks, Tim, for setting it up that way. Makes it much better for donations to the
Sure.
float.
Anything else, council? Thank you, Tim. And Bruce, if
Yeah,
you would go to
the first
ordinances.
ordinance, I don't know whether it's going to stay on the table, but it's, again, the ordinance electing to amend the municipal pension plan and agreeing to be bound by all the provisions of the Pennsylvania municipal retirement law as amended.
Again, we've been dealing with this for a while. Second amendment, if you would, Bruce.
Second ordinance is an ordinance of the
Yeah,
municipality
ordinance.
amending ordinance 848, regulating parking on Cottonwood Drive, odd sides between 777 and 741.
Questions or comments on this item before you, council? Again, that was discussed. And thank you, Bruce. Appreciate that. And we'll move over to reports of our municipal staff. And Bruce, any words of wisdom?
No.
Okay, Tim, you have two items.
Yeah, well, before we get to that, just on the ordinance that was under Mr. Dice's for the Cottonwood Drive, I think there may be one house that may be missing, and I think that is 801 should be included with that, if I'm not mistaken. And Jennifer, you want to come up and talk about that? You and I had a little meeting the other day, and you did some research on that for the benefit of your residents.
My name is
We
Jennifer
would
Taylor.
obviously have to
Sorry.
research what you have done, Jennifer, but go ahead.
Sign into, and then state your name for the record.
My name is Jennifer Taylor, and I'm a resident of Monroeville. And I did meet with Mr. Little earlier this week because I noticed an error. The existing no parking on Cottonwood, which is also under 848, but under the original ordinance, covers from 849 to 803 on the odd side. With the existing, or with the proposed ordinance, it would pick up at 777, leaving one house, 801, and a right-of-way as exempt on that side. So it would only make sense to me that we include 801 and the right-of-way, making it easier for our officers to enforce.
Council,
803 is
Would you
already
like to-
included, Jennifer?
803 is included. The last no parking sign is at the corner of their property.
Okay.
But 801 is the next corner lot.
The very next house, and I say, I don't have your nice handy-dandy map.
Yeah, with that.
If I can borrow one of them? And where do I put it for you guys to be
There's
able to
an
see it in the
X.
middle? Sorry. Okay, so right now, if I can draw on this, right where I drew the X is the last no parking sign from the original ordinance, and it has an arrow that directs up that hill. You're talking about starting the new ordinance.
It's not on yet, Jennifer.
I'm sorry? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
so
He'll
the
zoom
last.
in.
Zoom in.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, the last sign for the existing ordinance is where this X is. So it's just at the corner of 801, but not actually on her property. And it has an arrow that points towards 803 heading up the hill. So if we start the new ordinance at 777, it leaves this right-of-way, which is indicated here, and 801 that would be exempt from the no parking policy.
Okay.
So I'd like to see that amended, have that included, and just make it a little easier for the
Go
residents.
all the way up
Yeah.
and, okay.
It makes sense.
Makes sense.
Joe?
That makes
Council,
sense.
that is certainly a call to,
Yeah.
is everybody in agreement with amending that ordinance?
Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Everybody's okay with the amendment to the ordinance?
We do that, Joe? We just
Okay,
amend it,
Tim,
or-
if you would, let's
We have
go
to
over to your
re-advertise?
two items.
Well, yeah, just the other thing too, because Bruce and I didn't get a chance to talk, I just gave him a heads up on the ordinance for the pension ordinance. We met with the non-union, the non-uniform pension committee, and from that meeting, we believe the ordinance is ready to adopt. There does seem to be some issues to talk about, and the Public Works Union attorney may be contacting Mr. Dice and talking to him about that. But if there's, as it stands right now, we're ready to adopt this ordinance and move ahead, okay? Unless,
Is this the one you talked with Bob about?
no, Pasquarelli.
Okay.
I didn't talk to him,
Okay.
but they said they may be talking to him about it, so he may be giving you a
Okay.
call,
All right.
okay? But as it stands right now, unless anything changes, we're ready to adopt the ordinance.
So I'm sorry, Tim, you spoke with the non-union, or the,
Non-uniform pension committee, which each union has a representative, plus the administration, the non-union staff has a representative on that committee. And basically, PMRS, who has our non-uniform pension, basically states that if you get a healthcare rebate, the issue seems to be if you get a healthcare rebate, that cannot be included in a pension calculation according to IRS regulations. All right, and I'm not going to get into the minutia of it at a public meeting here, but that's the crux of it right there. And we believe that it's PMRS saying that this is what they are talking about, and I'll let Mr. Dice and Mr. Pasquarelli talk about that. But we're ready to move on and adopt the ordinance.
and that committee, do they have any other reservations?
They do about contributions of the past.
So healthcare rebate contributions that in the past were included in the pension?
Correct. But moving forward, we can't do that according to what PMRS is telling us and their legal staff, because the IRS is saying that it's not earned income, and you cannot include that in pension calculations.
Okay.
Okay.
And that pretty much covers all of this?
That's basically the crux of it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Tim, if
Okay.
you would, you have two items before.
Yeah, okay, the first one is our Verizon franchise renewal agreement is going to be up at the end of 2017, and the Cohen Law Group, Dan Cohen, gave a presentation to the COG Managers Committee this past month, and I gave counsel a copy of his proposal. And cutting to the chase, on page 14 is a flat fee price schedule for if, depending on how many municipalities from the COG, the Turtle Creek Valley COG, enter into doing it together, there's obviously a discount. And this doesn't have to be decided, but it's being put forth in front of you this evening. Right now, there's 9 municipalities that have definitely said that they're going to be coming into this. If there's 11 coming up, we would be the 10th if we would enter into it. I'm not looking on Tuesday for a motion or anything like that. I'm just bringing this to council's attention this evening.
Tim, did you say there is already 10?
There's already 9. We would be the 10th, and if we get 11, then we would be paying under $5,000 as opposed to $9,500.
Okay.
And
You're going to have it on the agenda.
I'm not for Tuesday, no. I'm not going to have it on the agenda.
Maybe
for
you're
Tuesday.
speaking too soon. Does council want to put it on the agenda?
Maybe council wants to put it on the agenda.
You don't have to vote, you can always table it. But you can think about it over the weekend and decide if you want to do it.
I think we have the opportunity to put on the agenda, we probably should, and we can always
Yeah,
table it.
That's right, if you don't put it on, you can't talk about it.
Right.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll agree with that.
Tim, I have a question.
okay. Okay, we'll put it,
Based on
Everybody's
the,
okay with on the agenda then, right? Put it
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
agenda.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
but based on the litigation that we have going on with them, based on fees,
late fees.
yeah, okay, late fees. Should we be entering into something like this until that is completed, that litigation?
Well, I'll defer to Bruce on that. I mean, I think that they're two different apples and oranges. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, because we have to do this anyway. It's a
Right.
matter of whether we have our own counsel do it or we have Dan Cohen, who specializes in something like this. And if you go in with the COG and you get, I don't know how many COG members are part of the current agreement. I'm not sure how many. There's 20.
It's a cooperative.
Well, it's not a cooperative, it's just a matter of, you get more municipalities entering into an agreement, and instead of just, you can do it the same, you can do for one, you can do for 20,
Right,
and just cut your cost.
right. So it's a co-op.
Well, basically, there's 20 members in our COG, so.
Yeah, but I don't know how many are in.
No, and I got that. I just wanted everybody to know there are 20 members,
Right.
and it'd be nice if all 20 joined.
What's it based on, usage?
As far as his fee?
Yes.
Well, I think his fee is depending on how many hours he looks at he's putting into it, and if he's going to put hours into one contract as opposed to 20, it's going to be the same thing, you can cut your cost.
Any other questions or comments on this item? Tim?
Okay, the other item is the 2016 budget, which council has a copy of, and I'll be going over that at the council meeting and presenting that to council, but if council wants to look through it over the weekend, if they have any questions, they can contact me or Tuesday night. But I'll be going through and presenting that to you and also the public on Tuesday evening.
And if you'll announce out the first public hearing on the budget.
Yeah, the first public hearing will be Wednesday, October the 28th. Let me make sure I get that right.
27th?
28th, Wednesday, the 28th, and also Thursday, November the 5th, which is the council work session. So those would be the two public hearings under the Home Rule Charter. And we also have work sessions scheduled after that also, if council wishes to take advantage of those.
And
Sorry, I didn't get this first page on the top.
Sean,
I'm sorry, Linda, I didn't have enough. My printer jammed when I was
Yeah,
turning.
I know, I didn't get it, though.
I'm sorry, I'll give you one.
Okay.
I got one.
thank you, Tim, and I just wanted to make another comment, if you would, in regards to the budget. As you well know, we do have the public hearings, but as we've done in the past, and hopefully we won't have to do it this year, but if there's a need for more public hearings on the budget, that will take place as well. If you remember, in past years, we've had more than just the two as out there. Thank you, Tim. Paul, anything for us?
No comments.
Very good. Sean? All righty. We're going to start off with you tonight, Linda.
Oh, okay. I would like to make everyone aware there's going to be a Crime Watch meeting October 15th, 7 PM at the Garden City Fire Hall. And Joe, if we could put that on TV 15, just so to remind everyone in case they want to know when it is. But again, the 15th at 7 o'clock. Secondly, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Harvey and to Mr. Logan for putting together an informational session regarding the proposed turnpike renovations. I'm sure Mr. Harvey will give more information on that to the residents. His ward is affected probably the most, but thanks to everyone that put that together for the residents to be able to come to. Lastly, Friday, October 30th at 12 o'clock at the Senior Center is their Halloween Monster Bash. Tickets are $6. Deadline to get your tickets is October 23rd. They will not be selling them at the door. They will have entertainment, a lunch menu, and it's always a very good time. So keep that in your mind for an afternoon event to go to. And with that, I'm done.
Nick?
Yes, Mayor. There's going to be a presentation on the Tuesday regular council meeting by Rabbi Barbara Simons. She's the president of the Monroeville Interfaith Ministerium. The Monroeville Interfaith Ministerium is a partnership of many of walks of faith in Monroeville, and by their religious leaders. They all get together and meet on a monthly or quarterly basis. And they have a program coming up at the library. It's Tuesday, October 20th from 8:30 to 4 p.m. It is the Bridges Out of Poverty training. It's a day event, and what it does is it looks at the misconceptions that most people from middle-income harbor about poverty and examines what is really happening in poverty in the United States. Rabbi Barber will be here on Tuesday to speak more about it, but in the meantime, you can get information about it on the Monroeville Interfaith Ministerium's website at mimcares.org. So Monroeville Interfaith Ministerium cares.org, mimcares.org. I believe the information's on the library's website. If not, we'll make sure that gets up there.
Nick, with your permission, can we put it on the, Joe, can you also scroll that on our channel as well? Sure, Mayor. If you would.
Yeah, but Rabbi Barber will be here on Tuesday to explain it better than I just did, so just wanted to give that, put that information out there on Thursday. Saturday, October 24th, the Recreation Department, Parks and Recreation Department has its annual Halloween Family Fun Night. It is at the Monroeville Community Park West. The event begins at 6 p.m. Children of all ages are invited to come. They have a creepy carnival games going on, arts and crafts, carved pumpkin contest, costume judging contest, hay rides, refreshments, and please wear a costume. Any questions or for more information, contact the Recreation and Parks Department here in Monroeville. But yeah, that is Saturday, October 24th, and that'll be on the website and on TV 15 as well. And then lastly, just a thanks to the Monroeville Council of Senior Citizens for having us over, myself, Mr. Johns, and Mr. Caleri for their Coffee with Council evening event a couple weeks ago. And thanks for the invite, and it's always a good time to get out there and talk to residents. That's all I have for this evening, Mayor.
Ron, if you would, sir.
As Ms. Gator said, we had a meeting with the Turnpike Commission last night at Gateway Middle School. There's just some people I want to thank, Sean Logan, Dave McGill and the school board for giving us the auditorium, and all the people from the Turnpike Project, of course. We had about 90 residents in attendance. It seemed like that they got most of their questions answered. I think a lot of people were hearing some bad information. I think it was straightened out last night because I think the information they got, they were speeding too fast forward. I think the Turnpike got that straightened out. They did a very good visual and audible presentation, and they did a nice job. Mr. Hugus or Mr. Dice, did either of you find any answer on that new law I read, that whether municipality can enforce that blighted property law, or is it county? Or do you know yet?
You know, I printed it out and I read it, and I don't remember the answer. I'll get back to you.
Fair enough.
I think it's the county.
You have till Tuesday.
Okay. How about I'll confer with Bruce first, too?
McClure Road has been temporarily repaved finally. It is certainly a lot better than it was, but we look forward to the spring for the permanent repair. I believe Pondview and Woodhaven Drive residents have got their letters advising them when that paving project is going to start. Just a couple of the bills that I always read. Duquesne Light cost $25,657. Workman's comp insurance this month was $77,944. And the one nobody here wants to hear is 1,000 tons of salt was $70,645, but at least they're getting ready for the winter. And Halloween coming up, please drive carefully, the kids will be out. And last but not least, for those of you that, I think everybody saw this, but Gander Mountain made an official announcement that they're moving to Monroeville, and they're coming in the spring of next year. Certainly welcome that business. That's it.
Jim?
Yes, Mayor. The Monroeville Convention Visitors Bureau, excuse me, International Gem and Jewelry Show is going on October 9th through the 11th. And one other quick thing, for all you folks out there that attended the Spirit of Christmas event at the Golden Goblet to support the children, we thank you. Because of your help, there'll be a lot of little kids here in the area, and their families will have a much nicer Christmas. With that, I'm done.
Paul?
All right, plans are underway once again for the Monroeville Public Library's used book sale. November 5th through, Thursday, November 5th through Sunday, November 8th. Please note that there will be no Wednesday evening preview this year as opposed to the previous years. If you would like to help, you can donate any type of books. You can volunteer there. And they always sell baked goods if you like to bake. Last thing I have is I just wanted to thank my new friends, the Pakistani American Association of Greater Pittsburgh. They invited me to an event they had. It's called an Eid. It was a great time. There was 250-plus people there right here at the DoubleTree. And Eid is a religious celebration, by the way, but it was a great time, and I just wanted to thank them for inviting me. That's all I have.
Steve?
Yeah, all I have is, in walking the Sixth Ward the last few weeks, and talking to the residents, the subject always seems to come up about the blighted and vacant homes. I currently have 5 in the Sixth Ward, and I know Paul's about, Mr. Hugus and his staff's about sick of hearing from me. But I want to assure everybody that these are, how would I put it, in the process of, the citations are out there, and it takes,
We're taking the appropriate actions.
yeah, and it's just
Wouldn't
something.
the land bank have helped out?
Well, that was my next,
I'm going to address a little bit of that.
Okay.
I don't know where we stand with the school district and the land bank as far as, I'd like to see us get moving on that. Because that would cut this process way down, I believe.
Not going anywhere.
Isn't that the truth?
Absolutely.
I mean, currently, the process is to demolish a home, it has to be structurally unsound.
That's right. And most of these homes that you're speaking of, there's no owner of record, really, because but the owners of deceased, there was no will, so there's nowhere to go with it, and that's where the land bank.
Now, could mold be a part of that, like structurally unsound? I mean, if it's producing mold and stamp inside, could we,
Well, the problem is if the premise is secure, we can't enter it without a warrant.
yeah. See, that's
That
the tough
creates a
thing.
problem.
How do you know if it's structurally sound if we can't get in to see it?
Usually you have to do it from the outside, and then when it gets to that point, you know it.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, and this is for council and for those in the listening audience and for the folks here, on October 28th at 6 PM, the school board contacted me and asked if we can do an intergovernmental. And Nick, I don't recall who's on the intergovernmental committee, if it's everybody or a certain few.
Yeah, it's Mr. Caleri, Mr. Wilson, and myself. And you, of course.
And as everybody knows, we do have a conflict, but ours starts at 7 though, correct? Yeah, well, they can only do, because they have a school board meeting, so we could probably still pull that meeting off.
October 28th?
28th,
That's
yeah.
a Wednesday.
That's
Yeah.
our budget.
Well, we have our budget
Is it a budget?
here at 7, and they have one, so,
So you're done by 7.
So are they going
Yeah.
to come here, or are we going to go there?
well, I'm going to ask them to come here since no, I don't know. Well, we'll figure it
So you know,
out.
it's going to be their regular meeting night, so I would think they'd want you to come there. It's their regular meeting.
Yeah, we could probably.
Yours
if
is
we
just a budget
Cut it
meeting.
45 minutes, keep it to that.
And
And
then
on
maybe
the
come back.
agenda is the land bank, Steve, just so you know, and they have another issue, and I don't recall off the top of my head, so. But I'm going to say to the folks sitting here in the audience, you may want to contact your school directors and ask them to support that, because again, not just in Steve's ward, I think in all the wards, we have some issues that
I-
could get addressed through that land banking.
I believe we, as a council, we support it.
7-0, we passed
Yes,
that
7-0.
resolution.
100%, so.
So, yeah,
Hopefully
we're
the
all
school
over it.
board
So
can get
again,
on it.
I'll ask the residents to please contact your school directors and ask them to support the land banking
Initiative.
initiative. Thank you, and we'll go from there. But again, Nick, who's on our intergovernmental? Do you know? Do you remember?
Yeah, Mr. Wilson, Mr. Caleri, and myself.
Okay, so please, if you'll mark your calendars, and I'll certainly join over there at 6 as well. 6 PM on the 28th, and then we'll leave about 6:45 so we can get here for 7 for our meeting, if that's okay with everybody. All right,
That's all I have.
okay, very good. I got lost.
Hijacked his report.
And we got Tom.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to say thanks to the residents of Cottonwood Drive for responding to the survey letter that we mailed out. And it was very positive that they do want the no parking ordinance in place. And Jennifer for pushing it down the road. And I had a couple other things, but we've already gone over those. So thank you very much. Thanks for a good meeting.
All righty, and Tim, you said you had one issue
Yeah, I just
before I
have,
close it out.
Council, on Tuesday, make sure you bring your budget books back, because the cover that you have there is somewhat generic. We have a better one we're going to slide in there, which I think is kind of interesting, that you'll like. Okay, so bring your budget books on Tuesday.
Okay, I just got a couple of things. I'd like to bring out as you all know, we've been talking the past few months about the broker of record, and Mr. Little did make a change with the advice and consent of council. And so I thought it would be appropriate that, since we had talked about it for the past few months, that we make that formal announcement out. And I'd like to see if any council would like to add that to the agenda, if you would please, for next Tuesday, a resolution to vote on that.
I have a question.
Sure.
Mr. Little, when can we expect numbers from the new broker of record with the budget being in this process?
Normally, we get those in December. Normally, we've had a presentation here by the broker about the numbers in December, because they usually don't get the numbers until like late November, correct, Joe? Something like that?
So it's not going to be before that?
No, that's usually, that's about,
Yeah,
When it is.
it's always early December is when we get the numbers, because it has to go to the adjusters, and it takes what it always is.
It would be with one of our meetings, though, I assume.
Yeah.
yeah, usually a work session, the December work session is usually when we've had that.
Okay, one more quick question. The healthcare that we went on for the RFP,
Okay.
are we going to have a discussion on that?
Right now, Joe has put together a spreadsheet. I have yet to review it. He and I are going to sit down next week, and that's our primary important. We're shooting for November to come to you with a recommendation,
Okay.
okay?
And again, for the folks sitting here and listening to the audience, that's not necessary to do that as a resolution on the broker record. But again, I thought since we had already brought it out publicly, that would just make it more transparent, if you would, so. I'm sorry?
Close the loop.
Yes, that's a good way to put that. Second thing I have is Halloween is absolutely on the 31st, which is Saturday, from 6 to 8. And if you all remember, I changed it once and almost got hung on a telephone pole. I will never change that ever again. It will remain on the 31st from 6 to 8 as long as I sit here as your mayor.
As long as you're alive.
Cheryl Klein, I don't know if all of you knew her. She was one of our security guards at the school district for many, many years. She passed just a couple of days ago. I guess it was a brain tumor. She was very young. So I just wanted to say condolences to the Klein family. Cheryl was a great person. If you didn't know her, you certainly missed a wonderful opportunity to meet a really, really, really nice person, always bubbly, always willing to lend a helping hand. So condolences to the Klein family. And last but not least, I have with Rabbi Barb, tomorrow morning here at 10:30 in our council chambers, we have a meeting with the ministerium, with all the apartment managers, owners, if you will. And what the ministerium's doing, they're trying to reach out and see what they can do to help any of their residents in needs. I would assume that would maybe mean some of our elderly, if they need some help, as well as our folks that have some, underprivileged, if you will, or our folks that need some assistance with their finances and et cetera. So that'll be open tomorrow morning at 10:30 here. And with that, Ron, I think you...
I'd like to make a motion that council move to an executive session for personnel reasons.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the exec session. You certainly, Bruce, can I?
Yeah, you can announce that there'll be no voting after the executive session. All that will happen is council will come out and adjourn.
Okay, you heard it from the solicitor, so we will go resign to an executive session, and we'll see you folks next Tuesday. Thank you.